Hello. It's been a while since I last talked to you, mainly because I still haven't figured out how to hook Wi-Fi in my apartment. But this is a very important video, I believe, um, especially among Christians who are concerned about the rise of the radical right, as well as Christians who believe we might be in the end times. I believe we're entering a period that might be the lead up to the end times. And this video is about the Whore of Babylon. Now, first, I'm going to quote some of Revelation 17 about who the Whore of Babylon is biblically. Revelation 17, one of the seven angels who had the seven bowls came and said to me, "Come, I will show you the punishment of the great prostitute, who sits by many waters. With her the kings of the earth committed adultery, and the inhabitants of the earth were intoxicated with the wine of her adulteries." 9. This calls for a mind with wisdom. The seven heads are seven hills on which the woman sits. There are also seven kings. 5 have fallen, one is, the other is not to come. Talking about the rise of the Antichrist. The Whore of Babylon will be a fallen church, a church that will support the Antichrist, thinking the Antichrist will lead them into glory. Now, I personally believe that there have been 3 Antichrists in history. The first is Jerusalem. In the Bible, a whore always represents, almost always represents, a fallen church, one who has sold its soul for the money, other gods, etc. The book of Hosea represents that with actually a prophet who is commanded to marry a prostitute to see what God feels. And Jerusalem was that. I mean, the Pharisees of Jerusalem sold their soul to keep power during the Roman occupation. And they were the ones who put Jesus to death, or basically helped the Romans put him to death. And so they might have been the Antichrist that John the Revelator wrote about, if you look at that form of preterist view. There's another speculation that the Whore of Babylon is Rome, because Rome sits on 7 hills. And I agree with that to a point. I believe in the Middle Ages, the Catholic Church was the Whore of Babylon. The Catholic Church and the Holy Roman Empire were in bed together. It was very hard to separate the two. The Holy Roman Empire and the nations that were inside represented the temporal arm of the Catholic Church. They both benefited from each other. It was a symbiotic relationship. But really, does the Roman Catholic Church have any power now? I mean, you'd have to have a severe shift in order for them to be the Whore of Babylon now. And personally, I don't see Pope Francis as a whore. I believe that he actually walks the walk of Scripture. So that leaves, who is the other whore? Who is the whore that is growing and will support the Antichrist, the beast? And I believe it's the religious right movement. And I think I have a good case on this. Jerusalem sat on 7 hills. Rome sat on 7 hills. Another city that sits on 7 hills, Lynchburg, Virginia. And you may say, what the heck does Lynchburg, Virginia have to do with the Whore of Babylon? Now, there are a lot of good people in Lynchburg. I'm not downplaying Lynchburg. It looks like a beautiful place to visit. And I'm sure a lot of the people who live in Lynchburg are good people. But my point is the moral majority. The place that the religious right was born was in Lynchburg with Jerry Falwell. And then you had the Christian Coalition with Pat Robertson. And from that came this toxic religion that merged itself with radical free market economics, and that from them came the religious right. Liberty University was a university that Jerry Falwell founded in 1971. And the alumni connected with that are very interesting. The LaHaye's, who are really big in biblical prophecy, pushing the pre-tribulation rapture. Just name a start. As well as Tony Perkins, who's the head of the Faith and Family Foundation, who basically is a major figure of the religious right who took after Dobson died, or Dobson retired. And look at the people who have spoke at Liberty University. I mean, yes, you have Ted Kennedy, you have George H.W. Bush, but you also have Clarence Thomas, a justice who, whenever it came to money, whenever it came to the death penalty, he always hoed the right line. He had sold his soul. Senator Jesse Helms, who was a huge segregationist. Colonel Oliver North, who admitted he lied and admitted, well, didn't admit he lied, but admitted that he sold arms to the Contras, which were a violent group. The Sandinistas weren't better, but Christians should not support a violent group. Sean Hannity, whose vitriol, hate-filled rhetoric he spouts every night on Fox News. I mean, he had some good ones, like Rick Warren, Mel White, pro wrestler Lex Luger, Tim Tebow. But they gave an honorary degree to Glen Beck. They revoked it because Glen Beck said some really uncouth things about the Obama's daughters, and that was too much. They agreed with him on everything else, except for the Mormonism thing. This toxic religion, this toxic Christianity, one that has no fruits of the Spirit, one that has no love, no gentleness, no kindness, no gentleness. And that is from where the Antichrist will come. Now, I'm not going to play the Antichrist game. I'm not going to say that the Antichrist will come within the next 10 years. I do believe that there are some people who show Antichrist colors. I think Ted Cruz and his father basically saying that Ted Cruz will bring the power back to the high priest. So, I believe I made a good case that the religious right is the whore of Babylon. The people who support it, I believe they're victims. I mean, some of them, I believe, actually believe the stuff, but they're not Christians. Because true followers of Christ would not say the things and do the things that these people do. So, we have to pray that the people who are part of the religious right come to Jesus and stop doing the hateful things they do. God bless.